Yes, the biggest opinion I value here is definitely from the Knicks fan for sure. Yep. Okay.
Yeah, the guy that beat you.
Are we gonna fight right now? Or are we gonna just?
Yes. I'm out for blood today, dude. What's the tail of the tape between me and Brian Ramos?
Oh, you want the smoke?
Is this from your pre-workout, Andy?
Yeah, it's the pre-workout.
I don't take pre-workout. I just have this much energy all the time.
Oh, wonderful.
If you can't handle the heat, get out of the kitchen.
All you need is music.
You can't handle the heat.
That's
You
true.
lost in the second round to them, buddy.
Well,
Man.
if you want to be
Get your
figurative,
ass out of here.
Okay.
just wait till Donovan Mitchell comes home.
Oh my god.
I don't think it's gonna happen.
It's not gonna happen, dude. If it happens, it's gonna be like he's gonna take over 3 or 4 players worth of contracts.
No, it's okay. We're getting Joel Embiid, so yeah, it's not happening.
That actually could happen. We're gonna go over that pretty soon on our podcast of Cut the Nets episode 34.
And then we'll sweep Cleveland.
When is that starting?
When is that starting? Starts
Yeah.
right now.
Always a great time at Cut the Nets, fellas.
Welcome, guys, to Cut the Nets episode 34. How are y'all doing? My name's Jeremy. I'm your host, along with Brian, my co-host, and we have our guest, Andy, on the pod. Thank you so much for tuning in and watching our show. If you liked it, please give us a like and subscribe, and please ring the notification bell so you don't miss another episode of Cut the Nets. But we are a podcast about the NBA world on and off the court. Guys, how are we doing?
I'm doing great. I'm excited for episode 34. It's the Paul Pierce episode. So I'm ready to talk some hoops. There's a lot in store for today.
It's also the Shaq episode, too, if you want to call it that.
I was thinking
Shaq
Shaquille O'Neal.
Yeah,
yes.
yeah.
Yeah, but
Sorry,
okay.
Paul Pierce was the first one that came on my head. For
Why
some
would you
reason.
think of the Paul Pierce when he was a Celtics basher and he won a ring on the Boston Celtics?
Wizards legend Paul Pierce.
Clippers
So I
legend Paul
think a
Pierce.
Clipper legend
legend,
Paul
Paul
Clippers
Pierce.
legend. Come on, guys, be smart here. Clippers legend.
My fault.
Actually, no.
Basketball, yeah.
Brooklyn Nets legend Paul Pierce.
Actually, bathroom legend Paul Pierce. You guys remember when he got carried out because he had to take a shit?
He pooped himself in that wheelchair, didn't he?
Yeah. And then he came back 15 minutes later and scored a bunch of points.
Yeah.
Keep chasing that farewell tour. They don't love you like that.
Yeah.
Draymond Green.
Yeah. You know who's really just cringing us right now, guys? James Harden. James Harden is cringe. He really is. He's even more cringe, especially this morning when he was in China talking about how he will never be in an organization with Daryl Morey. Like, how stupid is that? That's got to be the stupidest, most dumbest, statement you would say online. Like, what? Daryl Morey made you a superstar, dude. I'll argue that.
He sends him his paychecks.
Yeah.
Quite literally, that's the man that pays
But-
right now.
I want y'all's takes on this. So, Andy, give me why this is a dumb thing to say, and then Brian, tell me how this affects the Philadelphia 76ers.
So, James Harden, I mean, if you've been, here's the video here, where he literally just comes out and says, no sugarcoating, Daryl Morey is a liar, and I will never be part of an organization that he's a
Says
part
it
of.
twice.
And then he doubled down on it. Jesus. It baffles me. James Harden has essentially kind of finagled or chased his way out of a couple different franchises now. And as somebody who requested a trade and basically Philadelphia has said that he's not going to get that trade, for him to say that, it's mind-boggling. Like, I know he's in China and they're not big fans of Daryl Morey over there for his past comments on whatever the hell politics are going on over
true.
there. We're a basketball podcast. We're not a politics
Exactly,
podcast,
but that did happen, though.
It's an important part of the story,
Yeah.
for sure. Yes. Yeah. I don't know if he was kind of sucking up to the Chinese audience over there, which I would imagine he's trying to save face a little bit, much like I think LeBron did that in a past interview where he just kind of, wrote off Daryl Morey's comments as whatever. But either way, for him to just come out and say that blatantly, it's quite the head-scratching move, regardless or not whether you want to stay in with that franchise or not. I guess that's James Harden, though. It's time for him to transform back into Fat Harden and see what he can do.
I'm excited for that. I'm excited for Fat Harden.
You ready for Fat Harden?
I'm ready for Fat Harden
now, I think.
Well, did he turn fat when he went to Brooklyn from Brooklyn to the 76ers?
Not really. I think he was just.
No, he lost weight.
I think he was just hurt. That's it.
Yeah.
He was just hurt and saw the writing on the wall.
Okay, we'll take Fat Harden V2 then. I'm okay.
Yeah, I think Fat Harden Part 2. Yeah.
Look
Can
out
we
for
call it
in theaters this
Farden?
fall.
Or fat? No, not just Fat Harden.
Yeah,
Just Fat Harden.
No.
Yeah, that didn't work.
we could go. I'll come up with a fat name. I'm gonna randomly shout it out later in the episode. I
Sure,
don't have a good
sure,
one. I'll figure it out.
absolutely, absolutely. Well, Brian, given this, I mean, as much as Philadelphia can take with the trade rumors and then Philadelphia halting trade talks from sending James Harden everywhere, and that Morey said that he's going to come to training camp and train with the team. He says this statement. How does it feel with Joel Embiid on the team? How does it really like dictate their future? I mean, where do they go from here?
Yeah, I mean, I agree with what Andy said. I mean, fat James Harden's coming back. This is just completely awful in every round. I mean, we mentioned at the start of the episode that this is the Shaq episode. James Harden's career is going to be on a Shaq and a Fool.
He's 34, by the way. Just letting y'all know. James Harden is
He's 34.
he's gonna be 34 either now or he's like he's an August baby, I think.
He's not getting any younger.
Yeah.
Damn.
But yeah, to your point, Brian.
Yeah. So yeah, he turns 24 in 2 weeks. But
34, yeah.
Or sorry, 34 in 2 weeks. Yeah. But no, he's gonna be a Shaq and a Fool moment. I mean, all this nonsense with him and drama. I mean, he's becoming like his former teammate Kyrie Irving. I guess how this impacts the 76ers. Well, simply put, the NBA is a business, and within that business, it's a fraternity. It's kind of now where players vouch for themselves for more money. They kind of use other players to propel themselves. You see it now. They even have the politics of they get to control the roster. Guys like Kevin Durant and Kyrie follow each other. LeBron, the GM, whatever you want to call him, he gets to control his roster. So it just seems like that's kind of going on with the 76ers. I mean, with whatever people in the NBA still trust James Harden and view his validity, they're going to look at this and be like, oh, maybe Daryl Morey's not a good guy I want to play for. Maybe I don't want to go to the Philadelphia 76ers. And they're just going to become guys that are drafted there, and then when they break out to a star and they can leave any chance they get, they will, as long as Daryl Morey's still there. I mean, they pulled James Harden's trade offer, but he still said he wants out, and he's going to look for any way he can get out as possible. Joel Embiid there's been rumors floating around with him for a year and a half that he's going to leave. They're seriously starting to heat up now, so he's probably gone. Tobias Harris is a pending free agent at the end of the season. It's really just going to be Tyrese Maxey and a bag of chips long term, potentially, for the 76ers.
Bag of really stale chips, to be exact, honestly.
Those Lays that sit in back your car for like 2 weeks when you bought them from 7-Eleven.
The bag's open in like Houston heat. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, sour cream and onion chips laying in the heat when you're coming back from an AAU game 8 years ago.
Yeah. My take is this. Brian, you mentioned how it's going to affect Philadelphia and how players don't want to go play for Daryl Morey. I think of it as the opposite. You see as James Harden, he's been on the Rockets, the Nets, and the 76ers. I mean, he's been on 3 different teams or 2 different teams within like the last 2 or 3 seasons. And it's always been I want to trade. I want to get out of here. I want to request a trade. And there's been players that have left him. He hasn't really performed up to his contract. He says he took a pay cut. Well, he did take a pay cut last year, but apparently he said that Morey promised him a long-term deal in the following season, which is this season coming up. But his playoff performance, although he's had 2 really, really good games, he didn't have the games where it mattered, especially in Game 7 where he completely faltered. I mean, he had what? It was like 3 of 11 or something from the field.
Some brutal
stat line where he pretty much was a non-factor in Game 7 against the Celtics. And this was probably the best team that Joel Embiid has ever had since 2019. But another year where Embiid fails to make it to the Eastern Conference Finals. I mean, Sorry?
No, you can continue.
You have Harden, who's just kind of been more of a cancer as his career has been going on. I mean, he can't work with Chris Paul. He can't work with Russell Westbrook. He can't work with KD or Kyrie. He can't even work with Joel Embiid. I think this is more of a Harden issue. And based on his antics, I don't think he'll be in the NBA much longer after a couple of seasons. That's kind of my take. Because teams are going to see this, and they're going to be like, we don't want this for our championship team. We're not really sure if we can have this. I'm not sure if we can change Harden. We can change Harden's mood about his perception of how he thinks people view him in the league, especially in the front office. I think this is actually James Harden as a bigger issue than Philadelphia moving forward.
Yeah, I mean, well, I'm going to address the first half of that statement there. So, with James Harden and everything in that contract, and or the long-term contract, and sure, he disappeared in Game 7, he didn't shoot well, but Jalen Brown also disappeared in Game 7 on a much bigger stage in the Eastern Conference Finals, and he became the richest player in NBA history. So, not comparing Jalen Brown to James Harden, because obviously Jalen Brown is still probably better, and Jalen Brown is younger, but it's still that trust broken from the front office. Whether James Harden had 40 points and helped them win Game 7, or he shit the sheets like he did, it's still that trust factor from the player and the management and the boss that you just see that happens too much all the time where it becomes a big deal. I mean, you look at the Damian Lillard situation and all this trust and that he's never gotten help in Portland. There's plenty of other times and situations where you can name that just management is just causing players to leave, or just like disagreements there. So in terms of that, but then in the second half of the statement that you said, I definitely agree with you that James Harden is still a cancer to a locker room, and it's crazy and sad to say, as he's one of the greats that might not go down with a championship. So and especially coming at age 34, I don't really see any championship caliber team really wanting to take a flyer on James Harden just because of all the baggage and just how much he brings down a franchise. I still think he'll end up in the NBA just because the talent is still there. There's, out of maybe 5 championship caliber teams in basketball, maybe a little more, there's still 25 other teams that could use James Harden's talent, and that James Harden would be an upgrade over their starters.
I'm really glad that the Rockets didn't sign James Harden or trade for him. I'm very, very glad. This makes it much, much better. Like the idea that Harden is sort of stuck in his ways, and the amount of rumors and hype that he might return to Houston after his early playoff exit was really promising. But with the trade rumors and then his outward statements in China, I think he's better off playing in China. I mean, he got a huge applause after saying that twice. So,
I can't believe he doubled down on it. He really does not like that dude.
No,
that's crazy. I don't know. You guys are right though. I mean, if he gets a role on another team, maybe I think he might get a chance to be one more franchise at centerpiece, like a very desperate franchise that like needs something now and needs like a big name player or something like that. But is he really going to be any other franchise centerpiece at all? Not even just the age factor, just because he's toxic. The team gets worse, the franchise gets worse, and the front office gets friction amongst themselves when this guy comes to town, as we've seen in this past 10 years.
I honestly would argue he's worse than Kyrie Irving.
And that's saying something.
I would argue that because
really
here's the thing:
Kyrie
has off the court issues, which affect his capability of being on the court. Yes, it does affect chemistry issues, but whenever he's on the court, he is a great contributor. He still balls out. He still has elite scoring and an elite, decent playmaking. But still, that's good enough to be on a championship squad if the team is centered around him and a good co-star. I'm not sure if it'll be on the Dallas Mavericks because they basically have no defense aside from Grant Williams, which is a really desperate good signing. But when you compare Kyrie to James Harden, Kyrie is a good teammate. He's just has often strange opinions and things that he takes a break from. And, that sort of conflict does not, it's not as huge, or doesn't really build as much conflict as James Harden's situation has, with Kyrie being an NBA champion when he was on the Cavaliers with LeBron James. I mean, yeah, he's had some pretty rough years. First year in Boston, promising that he would sign with Boston, but then ends up going to the other side, Brooklyn. If he wasn't injured in the Brooklyn and Bucks series, they might have won it. They might have actually won it to the Eastern Conference Finals. So, or hell, the NBA Finals. So, in this case, I really do think Kyrie has a lot more contributions to a team, and then Harden, he's very predictable, especially at this age. And at 34, it's only going to get worse.
Yeah, it's kind of a sad way to go out for him in Philadelphia. We need to start having a conversation about how this process era of Philadelphia has been one of the most disappointing tenures of basketball for a franchise. Not that they didn't make the playoffs or were just bad. It's just all that hype, all the superstars that have gone through there, and they have not scratched the conference finals a single time.
Yeah,
that's impressively bad. That is impressively bad.
I looked at this Bleacher Report tweet today, and they listed all the tumultuous things that they did from 2015. The fact that Joel Embiid was hurt for 2 straight seasons. The fact that Ben Simmons,
drafting Fultz, Simmons,
the fact that Simmons was hurt in his first year. Fultz had problems shooting the basketball as soon as he got to Philly. You have them not re-signing Jimmy Butler and deciding to buy Tobias Harris over Butler, pissing off him. And now Butler's really successful, been to the NBA Finals twice in his career with the Heat. And then, of course, you have Embiid injured constantly over and over. Sometimes, and also they have tamperings with the league when it comes to acquiring players. They were fined quite a bit, especially in 2021. And then you have Harden, who initially should have played really, really well with Joel Embiid, but he thinks that, again, it's all about me and what I want to do, and about how I want to have my team. And if I don't like the situation, I'm not going to work on fixing it. I want to leave. I want to go to LA. I want to play with my boys. No, dude, I don't think that's a really good way of communicating, or it's just bad all around. It really is.
It's soft.
It really is. It's soft too. Yeah. Anything else we can? Anything else we can discuss about this? I think we pretty much hit the nail in the coffin on that.
Yeah, Harden's soft. He's going to go put on his fat suit and try to get a trade, and we'll see what happens.
Hell yeah.
That train you hear, that's the train coming for Harden.
Yeah.
To get his ass out of Philadelphia.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Whoever lives by a train track.
It's Brian. Actually, I think we ended pretty well on that one. Let's switch gears to the FIBA Basketball Cup. So we have the exhibition games right now. RJ Barrett is balling out for Team Canada, and his teammate from the New York Knicks, Jalen Brunson, looks like the best player on the court for USA.
Oh, he's got the Barrett jersey in the background. What does he call him? Star J?
Star J, and his new nickname now, his international nickname, the Maple Mamba, baby.
Maple Mamba, oh boy.
Oh, Jesus Christ. That's actually, I can't even mind. That's actually kind of cool.
Yeah.
I can't.
Yeah.
That's gotta be.
Brian, I've got a
that's
question for you. Does this have anything to maybe have hopes for the next season for New York? With these
well,
games
that right there. You see that 3-pointer right there? And that one? And then the other 2 that he hit? That gives me hope.
Let me see.
For next year.
Let's see this right here. Oh wow!
I wrote an article.
Bullied in the paint with a Euro step.
It's a man's bucket. That's a man's bucket. Yeah.
Goalie ball right there.
I wrote an article on it that RJ Barrett needs to break out, and I'd say the biggest weakness, Jeremy, Andy, even Meyer, I know you both are very knowledgeable of basketball. You very easily, if I asked you what the biggest weakness in RJ Barrett is, you're telling me his 3-point shooting. He shot 31%, career low from 3. He's a career 34.3% 3-point shooter, and obviously the FIBA World Cup, it's fun, it's cool, it's entertaining. You're defending your country, but some players, especially the younger guys, seriously work on their game in these tournaments. If RJ Barrett is seriously working on his 3 pointers, and he goes 4 for 4 in a win against Team Germany, where Dennis Schroeder was the opposing guard, pretty much going toe to toe with him. If RJ Barrett can have another, if RJ Barrett can go 13 for 14 from the field and hit 4 for 4 from three every night, then I really think he can be the player that he was supposed to become when the Knicks drafted him third overall. He's around 20 point per game scorer. He averaged 19 this year. But if his threes become way better and he becomes a more efficient player, I very easily can see him breaking out and becoming a 22, 23 point per game player this year. And it starts with those threes. He obviously has to be better. And I think the confidence in him offensively will even help him defensively, because that's been another key issue for him. So if Barrett can work on those threes and just become a better shooter, then I see no reason why he won't break out. And then on the opposite side, on the United States side, they pulled off the upset. And I know it's still exhibition. The actual FIBA World Cup hasn't started yet. But they pulled off the upset and beat the number 1 Spain. And yeah, I know they didn't have Ricky Rubio. He unfortunately has taken time away from basketball to focus on his mental health. But Spain's still a solid team. I mean, you got some solid players on their team. They're carried by the Hernan Gomez brothers. One of them's a star in a movie with Anthony Edwards. So Spain's still a solid team. And the fact that Brunson looked like the best player on the court, going 22 points, 9 for 9 from the field, 2 from 2 from 3, and he also had 5 assists. It shows that not only that how good of a great player he is in the NBA, but it kind of also just shows that clutch gene when guys like Paolo Banchero, especially Tyrese Halliburton. That was probably Tyrese Halliburton's worst game in the exhibition so far. He did not shoot well. And even on Barrett's side, he kind of stepped up on the load when Shai Gilgeous-Alexander was having his poor shooting. So I just think that those two can kind of complement each other nicely. And Brunson I think he can even improve more this year. He broke out in his first year as a starter in the NBA, averaging 24 points per game when they took the Knicks to the second round of the playoffs. Who's to say that Brunson can't be a 26 point per game scorer, and where he was robbed of an All-NBA and All-Star? So I'm liking what I'm seeing so far in this FIBA World Cup. I mean, whoever thought that an international tournament would give me Jalen Brunson looking like the most clutch player in the United States, RJ Barrett can finally shoot, and then Josh Hart got locked up long term all throughout this FIBA World Cup. So this might be my favorite World Cup ever. Everything's looking bright in New York. So I'm excited. I'm excited.
Yeah, I feel for you, Brian. I feel like the Knicks really do need this, especially with their low-key offseason. DiVincenzo signing Josh Hart to that lucrative extension. But then you mentioned the fact that they're going to put Josh Hart at the 4. He's 6'4". Like what the F is that, man?
And 216.
Hey, yeah, but undersized for that matter. When we get to RJ Barrett, I mean, we know Brunson's a killer. He's a killer on the floor. He scores at will. Any way he gets it, any way he wants, contested, uncontested, whatever. He scores. Jalen Brunson can freaking score. RJ Barrett. Yes. RJ Barrett needs to be able to make better decisions on the floor. Those plays that we saw, aside from that really nice in the paint confidence bully ball, he was given the ball quite frequently by a decent passer on the screen and pop, as well as maybe having a different coach. So those all sort of come to factor in to showcase and uplift someone's talent to the best that they can be. So I'm not really sold on it yet, Tom Thibodeau kind of, he has his flaws. He also has his perks. But you kind of saw those flaws, especially with Barrett in a couple of games in the playoffs, aside from 2-3 decent games against the Cavaliers. But the Miami Heat, he was kind of shaky. So we'll see what happens. I'm not sold on it yet, but I do like what I'm seeing from Star RJ Barrett, as Brian says. How does it feel with the Cavaliers, seeing that these players are balling out in the FIBA World Cup, Andy?
I'll be honest. I'm just thankful that RJ Barrett shot like 25% from three against the Cavs, because we might have lost every game and gotten swept immediately. Because I can't lie. As one of the biggest Knicks haters out there, it is the Knicks were already kind of a scary team in my mind, but kind of seeing what RJ Barrett's able to do, he's not all the way there, but improving the outside shooting, hopefully improving some decision making. We saw him give the ball up quite a bit in these games, and in the Miami series, I think he was giving it up like 3 or 4 times, like consistently, despite not being really a primary ball handler for the Knicks all the time. But yeah, I guess it also, at the same time, it's like, well, the Cavs got smacked, but hey, these guys are pretty good. So it's like, he lost to a good team maybe. Maybe I shouldn't be so bitter. I will still be bitter, but, maybe I shouldn't. That's all.
Yeah. I mean, you have to be bitter. You're a Cavs fan, but you have to be bitter, of course. Yeah.
Well, yeah, because it's small market, big market.
Yeah.
You can't like a big market team.
Yeah.
From
But
Ohio,
you'll like it if you beat a big market team, because they tried to pay a bunch of money, and they're like, and this money won't buy wins.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, just wait. Hopefully, if we don't do a very Cleveland thing and just completely blow it next year, somebody gets hurt, and then we trade everybody and go back to being a basement dweller, we have a chance. But I don't know. I don't know. Good for the Knicks. I am, you see a lot of times where guys that play in, like, on the national team or in one of the FIBA World Cups will have like a boost to their scoring next year. You see that they have better offensive output. I think that could definitely happen for RJ Barrett. Jalen Brunson, I don't know how much more he can improve, seeing that he was absolutely balling out last year, already in his first year as a starter. But, I mean, hey, I can't put anything past him. Those boys are hooping right now. Maple Mamba. I actually do like that. I'm going to use that.
Yeah, Maple Mamba.
And Jalen Brunson with whatever he does with the Joker face or whatever. I think that's cool too. But I will never say that again.
Yeah. What was I going to say? I feel like Jalen Brunson is going to stay the same. I just feel like he's going to get the recognition that he deserves compared to just him being overshadowed last year.
Because they'll have been doing it for a longer period of time.
He's due, but not because of his poor play, but because of the fact that he's Jalen Brunson. Like, watch out.
Yeah.
So, over in the Canada side, of course, along with RJ Barrett, we have Dillon Brooks on the team. I'm excited because, as a Rockets fan, Dillon Brooks is with the Rockets. He didn't have that great of a couple of first games against Germany. He was trolled by Dennis Schroeder quite a bit. A couple of plays where Schroeder would just like kind of gawk at him and kind of like taunt him and stuff, and he would kind of falter. But he did end up in one of the games in a decent game against Germany. I mean, he had 8 points. He was 3 for 8 from the field and 2 for 4 from deep, but he had a plus 12, so that is something to write home about. I'm looking for defense from Dillon Brooks. He is on the all-defensive second team from the prior season, so I'm looking for defense, and I'm looking for consistent three-point making. I mean, that's all I'm looking for. I'm not looking to have, trolling Dillon Brooks is right here is exactly what I do not want. That is exactly what I am against. But
he's got a target on his back, though. You knew it was going to happen.
Yes, he has a target on his back, I wrote an article, by the way, about how Dillon Brooks is going to have a resurgence, and I feel like his reps in Canada, playing for his team in Canada, is going to be good, especially when he comes over to the Houston side and plays under Coach Ime Udoka, who I know will train him well. Also, Ben Sullivan, I mean, I don't know if you guys, but like he made Derek White a 3-point threat. Just saying. And I feel like he'll do that with Dillon Brooks. If we can go over to Alperen Şengün's time in Turkey on the Turkish team, he has been balling out. He looks like the baby Jokic that we've all been waiting for. Well, that I've been waiting for. I don't know if you guys have been waiting for. But Sengun is getting better and better each year as a playmaker, as a 3-point shooter and actually an underrated defender. Had a couple of blocks, and it's looking great. I'm excited. He was 24, 8, and 8. He nearly filled the stat sheet with a triple-double, a near triple-double. Kind of flirted with it. But I'm excited for that because it really shows that he's growing as a player. He's getting bigger. He's getting bulkier. And he's showcasing how well he can make with the basketball. And I think that's a great sign to see, especially come regular season time. So shout out to Sengun. Really, I'll see you next month. By the way, I'm going to media day. Hopefully, we'll see. But
Can you guys tell Jeremy's a Rockets fan?
Yeah, so it's good to see. I always want to see players grow and develop. The NBA I like is when it's at its most competitive. So I want to see Rockets, the teams that have been the laughing stocks of the league the last 3 years. I want to see them competitive. I want to see them back in the playoffs. I want to see new teams. But as a Knicks fan, Jeremy, I'm a humble here. Take what Sengun's doing right now with a grain of salt. International players always, for some reason, play better in these international tournaments than the NBA. As a Knicks fan, I'm going to give you a name, Evan Fournier. So you remember when the Summer Olympics were going on?
yes.
Evan Fournier
That boy was hooping.
Yes, he was
was
hooping.
probably the best player in the world, despite France not winning the gold medal. Evan Fournier was insane. Of course, his contract year happens to be in that year. I believe he also, in addition to hooping in the Olympics, I think he also had a career high with the Celtics from 3. So Knicks gave him that huge deal. And then, look, he was getting DNP'd every day, sitting next to Tom Thibodeau, dressing up as a cheerleader. So just because players are looking nice in these international tournaments, and I don't know how good Turkey is. I'd assume not that good.
Not that great.
So just take what Sengun's doing with a grain of salt, so you don't get disappointed like I did tremendously with Evan Fournier.
Well, I don't really think that Sengun's going to be next to Ime Udoka in a cheerleading outfit. That's for sure. I'm very positive that's not going to happen.
I mean, I'm positive about that too, but
yeah. So
If he was, then I don't know who the hell you guys are going to play next.
Jock Landell.
Dillon Brooks. Oh,
the
God,
Australian. Yeah. Hey, he's an underrated pickup too.
I would say he's a pickup. I don't know if he's underrated, but he's a pickup.
He's under the radar.
He's got a great name, I gotta admit. That's such a NBA big man name. It's unbelievable.
Well, he's Australian. It's Jock Landale. That's basically how you pronounce it.
Is he the next Steven Adams? All he has to do is grow a beard and get travel tats.
No, he has blonde hair, so it's like kind of hard to do that unless he dyed his hair black.
Joakim Noah dyed his hair.
Meyer, yes, I was killing the Rockets when they first signed him, but the more I look at this, the more I'm going to be okay with it. And the more I'm excited.
He's gaslighting himself.
Look, we could have had a much better offseason, but we will take what we can get because players demanded a bigger salary, even though the salary was way more than they were capable of actually saying, hey, yeah, I'm worth that salary. No, like it was it was very negotiable, and it was kind of sided towards the players. So we are gonna sail this ship with what we have, and I'm just excited we're not gonna be a 20-win team anymore. That's all I'm gonna care about.
That is the most elaborate way of saying we were desperate and had to pay guys that I've ever heard. That was impressive.
Yes, but here the thing is that players got signed for they were overqualified for what they're actually signed for. Okay, but we had to get them.
Yeah.
All right, we had to.
You can't bargain much when you were winning 21, 22, whatever the hell it was.
You got to start somewhere. And I feel like these Rockets, these newly acquired Rockets, are going to teach these young boys some good veteran leadership and how to play ball. Okay? I feel like I'm going to retract that statement. I don't mean young boys. That sounds really weird.
I didn't want to say anything about that.
Yeah. You're going to teach these rookies and young players, this young talent, some basketball. That's what I meant.
Jeremy Franco, Wander Gretzer.
No. I am not Wander Franco, okay?
Oh, no.
Also, shout out to Jeff Green because he is making his second stint with Houston. He's a great immaculate grid name, guys. Just lay it out there. But hey, he's also still very good. Recent NBA champion. Shout out to Jeff Green. He's coming back. Y'all stink, man. Y'all are. Oh,
You
man.
said it. Dude. Well, actually, no. Brian.
Yeah,
said
yeah,
that,
he
but,
did.
Yeah.
You threw me a lob. You were like Chris Paul. And I was
I
like
did throw you. I literally threw you a layup. Okay, like, can we talk about
Unlike
Maverick
Patrick
signing
Ewing,
Derek Jones?
So the Mavericks signed Derek Jones, guys.
The Mavericks signed Derek Jones. Yeah, I mean, is that any like thoughts about how this might bolster their defense, or maybe they're have like another guy on the wing? So, I mean,
I don't know.
are they being desperate?
When there's a big signing, there's like it's like a Woj bomb or whatever. This is like a Woj pebble drop. Like, I don't know. He's all right. He makes the Mavericks better, but the Mavericks don't need to be a little bit better. They need to be a lot of bit better. And I just don't see. He's
a Bulls guy.
I think that.
He's a Bulls guy and the Heat guy. So
he is. He's a high flyer.
High flyer, yeah, sure.
He's a great addition if you want to win a slam dunk contest. But I think the Mavericks will be better. Just Luka and Kyrie are going to give some more playing time together under their belt. But does this take them back to like contention where they were like a season prior, not before last season? Does this do anything for them, really? That's like major? I don't know. I'm questioning what the Mavericks really see, what they're going to do with their current roster, and how far they think this current roster can take.
I mean, I don't know. I agree with half of it, and I agree, and I disagree with like half of it. I think like I agree with you, and that's actually I'm going to use that. So we're going to trade things here. I kind of like the Woj pebble bomb, because I mean, it is like he's not a marquee name, like. I didn't even see it until right before the pod. I was scrolling through my Bleacher Report notification, so I feel like it didn't even get talked about. But I don't know. I kind of like this deal for Dallas. I mean, sure, all he is a glorified dunker with some defensive upside. But I mean, it kind of underrated. Obviously, it's not the player you want to fix this issue, but it kind of fixed the issue. Their two biggest issues of defense and just no wing depth. Because I mean. When they traded for Kyrie Irving, they gave away any wing depth that they had in Dorian Finney-Smith and Spencer Dinwiddie. And now I feel like you kind of get some of that back in Derek Jones. So obviously he's not going to be impactful. And like you said, I agree with you that Dallas does need to get a lot better. And even though this may only make them a little bit better, but we'll wait and see because now you have a full season of Kyrie Irving playing next to Luka. And then I feel like a lot of people kind of overly shit on their tenure too much. Yeah, they choked and didn't make the playoffs, but you have to consider Jason Kidd kind of blew some games for them early on in the year when they had Christian Wood and they didn't play him. And
they should resign. They should bring back Christian Wood.
They should, but I think that bridge is burned.
Why? Christian Wood's a free agent. He's laying around.
I agree, but
waiting.
I agree, but Christian Wood was totally disrespected there. I mean, he gets there, he's not coming, he's not starting. He finally has to play, and he's bowling out. Then he gets hurt, and then when he came back, it was towards the end of the season when they pretty much were purposely benching their players and tanking to go out of the playoffs. Usually, you try to get to the playoffs. They were tanking to not make the playoffs. So I just think that bridge is burned there. But you had Jason Kidd, like I said, throwing games away by not playing Christian Wood. Then you had the fact that when Kyrie Irving got there, he didn't make his Mavericks debut right away. Then Luka was hurt. So the duo never really got to show what they can do together. They were kind of thrown into the wolves. Now they have a whole offseason, plus training camp and preseason to get that chemistry on point. Now you have a full season, or knowing Kyrie Irving, something might come up. So hopefully a full season of them playing together. They should be a little bit better, but I still think there's pieces need to be made to be a lot better, like they should.
I think Grant Williams is the best signing they've had all offseason. Besides bringing Kyrie back, I'm saying Grant Williams is the best signing from a different team they've had all offseason. And it may, from hindsight, it may not be saying much, but Grant Williams, he's a good player. He's a good player to have on a team. It's just that I feel like the Mavericks with their current situation as they try and hope to run it back with Kyrie and Luka. They could have been more aggressive, and they could have maybe sort of squashed the beef with Christian Wood. His talent is unmatched, and it's kind of sad that neither team is looking to sign him. Like, I'm sad for Wood. I really am.
Yeah. Or maybe
He'd be a
sign.
good pickup for a lot of
He
teams.
would. He really would.
Yeah, he would.
That's why I said
That's
it.
what he did
Yeah.
there.
Or maybe sign
Thank you
in-
for catching that, Andy. I appreciate that.
Or maybe sign NBA players instead of bringing back Dante Exum into the league.
Dude, that was so...
Oh,
Oh, my God. That's like equivalent of getting Delonte West.
But yeah, Meyer, I agree. I wrote an article about it a month ago. The Knicks should sign Christian Wood to be the backup four. I do not want to see Josh Hart.
Did you hear what I said, Brian?
I heard it.
Cavs legend Delonte West, might I
Oh
add.
my God. That may be a bit too far, but we'll see.
If we keep going on the Delonte West path, we're gonna be talking about him for 10
Okay,
minutes.
okay.
So, yeah.
Taco Fall leaves the NBA and signs with a team in China. Hey, I mean, that's sad. I mean, Taco Fall, 7'6" guy, really tall, and didn't really give much of a impression in the NBA as much as people hoped he'd. I mean, you guys remember like those YouTube videos of like how Taco Fall will shock the NBA? He's such an underrated high size center. Like, I remember those YouTube videos. Like Mike Korzemba made one. I believe that Swish Out made one. Dom 2K maybe. Nah, I don't think Dom 2K did it.
I was fully bought in on him being a Hall of Famer. Like,
You were?
even before he made it, I was fully bought in. Well, of course, just because like the way they glaze him in those videos, like the 7'6" center is ready to take over the league coming up right after the ad break, and then you're just like fully bought in.
Yeah.
I bought
I'm, like,
in.
18 at the time, just taking it all in.
I bought into the Taco Fall height when I want to say 2018. No, 2019 March Madness, second round Duke UCF, or maybe it was Elite Eight. No, Sweet 16.
That was Sweet 16. Yeah,
Sweet 16.
no, that was round of 32 maybe, because
Well,
I think UCF was an 8 or 9 seed.
yeah.
Regardless,
When they were playing, and Taco Fall was giving Zion Williamson the work, and they were going back and forth. When I saw that happen, that was like, all right, because like obviously number one issue with Taco Fall is his strength and like stamina and durability. Like every other insanely tall, big Bull, Chet Holmgren, Wemby, guys like that,
Those tall boys.
and and so I thought, okay, this Taco Fall guy is not going to last. Now that he's getting glazed, he's going to be like a glorified Sean Bradley or something along those lines.
Yeah.
And then I'm watching that Duke UCF game, and it's pretty much the tale of two evils. It's like instead of David and Goliath, it was Goliath and Goliath. You had the 7'6" skinny boy in Taco Fall, and then you got the bulky, shredded Zion Williamson, whose shoes were
Horny.
whose shoes were exploding just from a crossover.
Y'all.
I couldn't help myself. I'm sorry, Brian. You were spitting some wisdom there.
I was genuinely like interested in what Brian was saying.
I was too, but
Yeah, you had to go there. You had to go
Threw
there.
me off.
because it's funny, Jeremy.
It is
Okay?
funny. The fact that his whole name on Snapchat is Zion Williamson. That's just still funny to me. He doesn't have like a
He was
burner
texting
alias.
MLA format, like, "Hello, do you want to come over?"
All right.
Do you want
Okay.
to have
Okay. Just let's move on.
That's
We're good.
GBT.
Yeah, no.
Let's move on or GG's to the podcast. Okay. Brian, can you finish what you said?
Yeah, so before I was hilariously interrupted. So I mean that Zion Duke or Zion Taco Fall Duke UCF game was when I really thought that Taco Fall could last as a player. And then I don't really know why, but he was kind of buried under the depth chart in Boston by Brad Stevens. He was only really playing when it was garbage time, blowout games where fans at TD Garden were chanting for Taco Fall. He'd go in and get his 30-second to 2 minutes of fame. So I still think they could have worked on him and he could have been an NBA player, but hopefully that's what he has China to thank for. So
I mean, you had already, like, the Celtics were in championship contention. So if you're drafting a player like that and you want to develop him because he's got a raw talent but he needs to be developed, it's kind of hard to do that on a championship contender. I mean, what, Kyrie and Gordon Hayward were still there?
I feel like there's other ways they could have got about it, though. Like, well, one, competition against a championship caliber team could have helped him. Or instead of stashing him and just killing any potential he had, send him to the G League.
Yeah, that's true. But he goes to China, so he's probably going to ball out in China. I'll say that. He definitely will ball out in China.
Oh, he's going to be such a like cultural phenomenon over there too.
Him and James Harden.
Like, imagine him, James Harden, and Dwight Howard all on a team together.
Oh my God, Dwight in Taiwan.
Yeah, they would go 82-0, win by 100 every game, and yeah. Oh my goodness.
Oh my God.
You just know when Taco Fall signs to a team and they have like a bobblehead night for him, that place is gonna be sold out.
Oh my God.
That's gonna be fun though.
Yeah.
I think that's good for him.
Yeah.
He's doing the right thing for this point in his career.
Maybe able to do like what the Packers do with the cheese heads, maybe able to do taco heads.
Taco heads? Like just tacos?
Right,
they're just like culturally appropriating like tacos on in China. Sorry.
That would be a bunch of people in China wearing taco hats to support a guy that used to play basketball in America and is originally from Africa. I think that would just be quite the
just cultural diversity appropriation right there.
That's amazing.
Literally.
It's a worldwide game. I love it. Yeah.
Oh man.
It's beautiful.
All right.
Grow the game.
Brian.
Sportsmanship. Pass it on.
Yeah.
The final topic of today's podcast discussion.
Oh, God.
Your move.
All right. So, did you guys see Jamal? Did you guys see who went off in Jamal Crawford's little tournament league exhibition? I don't even know what it's called.
I don't know.
No,
Who went off?
He's on the Golden State Warriors.
Steph Curry?
Try again.
Klay Thompson.
Try again.
Festus Ezeli.
I don't even think he's still playing basketball. Try again. Actually,
Oh.
no, I'm gonna tell you, baby.
Is that Jonathan Kuminga?
The KumBucket, baby. Look at that. Oh, beautiful. The KumBucket empire expands not just to the NBA, but to the crossover league. Oh, you saw that little step back and just takes it straight to the rack for the dunk. Oh, man. Oh, now he's catching lobs. Oh, man. The Warriors, their bench is getting better when the KumBucket's doing this in a crossover league, baby. Get your T-shirts. Hop on the bandwagon while you still can. You know what? Cut the Nets 50th episode. I think we got a custom-made KumBucket shirts on Custom Ink, baby.
Oh, we should definitely do that. We would sell. We would sell.
KumBucket Empire is expanding, man.
Dude, hey, Jonathan Kuminga isn't in the basketball business. He's in the empire business. Get it?
What does that even
Get
mean?
it? It's a Breaking Bad quote.
Really?
Yeah.
I watched the show.
He's
I
like,
remember them
Jesse,
saying-
you asked me if I was in the meth business. No. I'm in the empire business.
The KumBucket's coming to ball out in an arena near you.
COMING or the other one?
KUM.
Oh, God.
It's up to your
Oh,
interpretation.
God. Well,
I have
I will
several
say
things I want
that
to say.
Plankton would never score 60 points or 60 plus points. I'm just
Because
saying.
he was at the chum bucket.
Yeah, he's a chum, not a cum.
There are many things we could say here. And I think we should
Okay.
limit that as little as possible.
Brian, does this have anything to like write home about if you were a Golden State Warriors fan for Kuminga?
In all seriousness, I think that it would be. I think it actually matters that he's doing this good. I mean, you take a look at the guys that the Warriors' depth has lost. Kuminga, the Warriors kind of thrive off these undersized bigs because they play small ball. Kuminga kind of looks like he has the athleticism that he could be a backup five to Kevon Looney, and they lost that big man depth when they traded James Wiseman to Detroit. So I think it's actually important to see them balling, and it shows that the Warriors can still draft well and maybe even find diamonds in the rough if he could be something. Just because like they got Jonathan Kuminga, and even if Moses Moody becomes something, it sounds like the Warriors could not only have their stars in Steph Curry and Klay Thompson, but maybe even when they retire, they can not be completely miserable, and they'll still have some key pieces to build upon.
Charles Barkley did mention that the Warriors aren't going to be championship contenders unless they have Kuminga, Moses Moody on top of their game and contributing.
So what I'm hearing is Chuck Barkley is a KumBucket enthusiast.
Let's keep it basketball, Brian. Let's keep it basketball.
Sorry.
I was going to say, when you asked him how it ties to the Warriors, I don't think he really cared about how it ties to the Warriors.
Their 2-on-2 nickname could be the KumChucks.
Brian, I'm out, dude. I'm out.
Yeah, okay. I'm walking out on that one.
Oh, you look at my face, Ryan. Look how red I am. I'm tired. All right.
I mean, it was funny.
This is the NBA offseason, guys. This is what we got. This is the content we have for the NBA offseason.
What do you guys expect from us, man? All right, you try.
I mean, we're doing a pretty good job. I think so.
That's what I'm
Yeah.
saying.
But yeah, that is going to be a conclusion for episode 34 of Cut the Nets. Again, if you really liked our podcast, especially this episode, please don't forget to drop a like and subscribe to make sure to be notified by all of our Cut the Nets videos here on YouTube and Spotify. Also, comment down below on all of our topics that we discussed. James Harden, will he be in the NBA in the next couple of years? Only time will tell. Drop it in the comments. Drop your opinions. Maybe James Harden retires after this because no team wants to keep him, But yeah, that's it for us. We appreciate y'all watching. My name is Jeremy. This is Brian, our guest Andy, and our producer Meyer. We thank you so much for watching. This is Cut the Nets, signing out. We'll see you next time.
You did not just say that, Brian.